Hi folks, thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Greg and this is All About Candles. I'm your self-proclaimed Canadian candle connoisseur, and today I have a review for you from Bath & Body Works. This is Wildberry Jam Doughnut, and this is the latest iteration of Wildberry Jam Doughnut. I sound like a broken record, but I really wasn't like over the moon about these sort of black and white boring jars for all of the gourmand fragrances that are so, I don't know, fun, like Wildberry Jam Doughnut, Almond Croissant. What I much preferred was the last iteration of Wildberry Jam Doughnut, which looked like this. And also, I'd be willing to bet that this version from about 3 years ago, this is stronger and it burned better than this version, which is currently available. Now, to start off with the fragrance, this is a very classic, very typical gourmand bakery Bath & Body Works fragrances, and I really do think that BBW does these types of things quite well most of the time. Getting into the scent notes, we've got sweet wildberry jam, powdered donut, and brown sugar crystals. And yeah, this is really nice. I mean, it just smells like you got it baking in your oven when you walk into a space and you have this one lit. But like I said, this one performed better and was stronger. Like, even, I realize that this one, the fragrance is compromised a little bit because I burned it so much, but I smelled them before I started burning that one. And this previous iteration is I promise you, it's stronger. I guarantee it. And it's just kind of another example of some Bath & Body Works fragrances that sometimes are weaker than other times. Like this year, I also found Fresh Cut Lilacs quite weak. The one that was in the really pretty springtime bird jars. There's a couple candles that have been weaker this year for sure. This Wildberry Jam Doughnut is one of them. And it was also getting a lot of comparisons to Happy Hanukkah, which was another sort of dessert bakery candle. The scent notes on this one were pillowy fried dough, sweet jelly filling sprinkled with powdered sugar. I actually think this is quite different than Wildberry Jam Doughnut, and I think that this was the superior candle overall, especially accounting performance into that. But let's just talk about this one right now because this is what's on the shelves. It's a great fragrance. I'd say that the strength and throw for this probably a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10. But getting back into the scent, the berry that you're getting is like a sharp tart berry. I feel like it's blackberry and raspberry. It's not a softer berry fragrance like a blueberry. It's definitely like a really seedy, like blackberry. There is a texture to the berry fragrance in this that I like because it really makes you think of like a crushed blackberry with like the seeds in there, giving it kind of a grainy texture. And then the bakery note to me is probably a bit more like a sweet cupcake or cake as opposed to like a donut. Yeah, I get a little bit of the brown sugar in there. But what you get first and foremost on the top note is the wildberry, and then the mid to base notes are this sort of gourmandy, starchy, crumbly deliciousness. Yeah, I really, really like this. Bath & Body Works does gourmands really well. The performance on this one was not fantastic. I'd say that the first half of the candle burned really, really well. Good strength, good throw, but right around this point, I'd say, yeah, the bottom 1/3 of the candle struggled quite a bit. Puny wicks. I kept letting it burn, hoping it would eventually sort of correct itself, but it never really did. I probably let it burn for a really long time on the last burn, hoping it would pick up some steam again, but it didn't. And so down at this point, as you can see here, down at this point, I stopped burning it and I put it under a candle lamp. And that was actually a really nice way to enjoy the fragrance. My kitchen smelt like I was baking Wildberry Jam Doughunuts in there for like 3 or 4 days. This fragrance kept pumping out of my candle lamp and it was really nice. Yeah, I like it. I wish that the last third or so of the candle had burned a little bit better and been a little bit cleaner. Would I recommend it? This is the one that's still on the shelves now. And unless it's a fragrance that you really, really, really want, I probably wouldn't recommend getting this iteration of it because this one burned much better. This one has the thin core wicks on it. Whereas this year's iteration were the thick ropey wicks. And so I think that definitely had something to do with its performance. I'm not sure why they would have tinkered with the formula to go to something that was inferior. But unless this is a candle that you really, really want right now, I'd recommend just waiting until the next time it comes out. I wouldn't repurchase this exact same pour, but it is probably a candle I'd repurchase again in the future because I do like the fragrance. I mean, it just smells like you've walked into a really delicious jelly donut shop. Not an everyday burn, definitely not anything groundbreaking or spectacular, but it's quite lovely. And so if you're a fan of fragrances like this, I would recommend it. That's all I have for you today, some Wildberry Jam Doughnut. Thank you so much for joining me. What's been going on with everybody? I know that big eclipse was yesterday. Everyone was talking about that quite a bit. I couldn't care less. I completely missed it. I'm sure there's some pictures out there of it for me to look at. I feel like every time there's like some sort of a solar event like this, you always hear that like, oh, you're not going to see anything like this again for another 400 million years. And then a couple years later, it like happens again. And I continue to not really care. I don't know. I'm sure I'll open social media later tonight and be able to look at 100 pictures of this eclipse. But did you watch it? Was it interesting? Was it cool? Were you careful? Because you can't stare directly at it. That's why I don't really understand the excitement, but that's just me. I hope everyone's doing well. Until next time, I'm Greg. This is All About Candles. Let's burn some candles and bitch about it. Bye-bye.